tray and head right for the back. Mama Tess yells, "Enjoy!" I wave my hand as to show I heard her and find my spot quickly.
X seems frustrated and in a hurry. She's making her way towards the very back. Rex asks, "Is it okay for her to eat in here? What I mean is, she never does, right?" Allie laughed.
Yes, Rex, she's allowed here just as everyone else. She just chooses not to on her own due to not liking anyone.
And no one liking her, Rex added.
Yes, Rex, that is correct. I sat down with my back to everyone to eat without being noticed and start to feel warm. Realizing I still had my jacket on, I decided to take it off, not even remembering why I wore it in the first place. I lay it beside me and start to eat as fast as I can so I can leave as fast as I can.
We all three hurry to the front of the line, grab our trays, and make our way to X. She remains looking down at her tray and eating. No hello or good to see you, not even worth a glance up.
Thinking they would just all sit across from me, I was wrong. One of them sat directly to my left. Thinking it was Allie, I look up slightly. It is Mitch. I look back down and continue eating, acting like I knew nothing. I assumed they would all conversate between one another, but Rex was the first to speak up, and speak to me. His tone did not seem scared nor frightened of me like usually, but normal, like we make conversation all the time.
"Slow down, X, you may choke," Rex laughed. I slightly kick him under the table, and he meets my eyes. She probably did not want to be bothered, but then she replied,
"I'm just trying to get done and out of here as quickly as I possibly can."
and goes back to eating. Allie then questions why she is here to begin with, but I lose focus on the conversation when I notice the discoloration on X's right arm. It was hard to tell, but looked new. It was on the inside of her arm, which she kept hidden well due to moving too much and too fast while eating. I continue to stare and notice her left arm has the same marks. It was hard to tell exactly what it was, but I know those marks were not there yesterday. I stare closer.
"Mitch, what are you staring at?" I catch him off guard and his eyes look up at my face. He tries to muster up an answer, but is unable to. Rex and Allie start to quietly laugh at the situation I have put him in. He starts to say something in a stuttering form.
At you? Well, not exactly at you. Not creepy like, just thought I saw something.
Saw something? Like saw something on me? Before Mitch has a chance to further explain himself, Allie reaches over, grabbing my arm and pulling it to the middle of the table. Oh no, the bruises. Just now remembering why I wore my jacket today to begin with and taking it off, forgetting about the marks. I pull back my arm quickly and yank my jacket on, covering them back up and reply, "It is nothing, Allie, just drop it." Of course she doesn't. I do not know why I would expect her to. She worries way too much. She pleads with me to tell her with an increasing velocity in her voice. I remain quiet, unsure if I want to tell her, nor do I know if I want the boys to hear. Then Mitch speaks up.
"You can tell us, X. Allie is clearly worried and we will not tell anyone." X looks towards me. Her face seems sad, or by what I could tell since her shade hid most of it. Part of me was worried as well and needed to know what happened.
I look up at him, upset that he said Allie was the only one to seem to be worried about it. He did not mention that he himself was worried in any way, and judging by his face, did not seem to care to. I started. "Eve came by my room this morning before I met up with you all. I was going to leave early, and she decided to pay me a visit. That is it." Allie, unconvinced, remains questioning. I did not want to worry Mitch and Rex, not for my safety, but their own. There was no need to bring them into Eve's madness and cause them to be more afraid of her and this place more than what they probably already are. I sigh and start to continue, still leaving it vague. She let me off the hook with courses and told me I could start back with Mitch and Rex's training. That is how I was able to be back with you all today. Allie's still questioning. "And those bruises were a form of reward?" I then pull my hands into my lap, feeling them start to quiver as Eve's face replays in my mind. Her words and the feelings in my arm as the pain starts throbbing. As I go back to the guards that were getting rid of those bodies, many innocent lives lost. And for what? I knew I could not get Mitch and Rex involved, no more than what they already are. I press Allie. "Allie, please, we can discuss this further when there are not so many people around."
That is when my suspicions ran wild, and I become upset knowing she meant us. More secrets. "You mean me and Rex? Why can't we know as well? I'm tired of all these secrets, X. We should have every right to know by now what is going on around here and what we are up against." She was looking at me now. I think I shocked her. I shocked myself. Not expecting myself to just jump in, but I've remained quiet for too long and been needing answers since the beginning.
I responded with a simple explanation. "Mitch, the less you know, the better. We are just trying to keep you safe."
Safe? Why would you care of our safety?
Allie tried to intervene by asking him to lower his voice, but she could not stop him. He was an explosion ready to ignite, and it just happened. He continues.
You are the ones that brought us here in the first place, X. Expect us to do as you want and just follow blindly? No answers, nothing, and now you still expect us to keep going without answers? Honestly, if you cared about our safety to begin with, we would not be here at all. As I finished speaking, I saw a group of guys walk up. X did not even have a chance to explain anything before the guy in front of her slammed his fist into the table. The guy got the attention they wanted from all of us, as we all looked in their direction, including X.
I looked up. Brad and his crew were now standing at the end of our table, staring at us. Brad lifted his fist, walking towards my direction, while some of his people followed, and others walked to the other side towards Rex. He gave a slimy grin, stating,
Hope I'm not interrupting anything, but I noticed X here finally graced us with her presence, and I had to find out why. To my delightful surprise, she has others sitting with her, almost like she's made friends.
He pauses and slides right in beside me, sitting down. The others follow, sitting beside him and then by Rex as he continues.
But that is impossible. X does not make friends. She's mean and horrible, not to be dealt with, right?
Trying to keep my cool, I face forward. Allie knows and chimes in. What's your point, Brad?
Was I speaking to you, insignificant pet? Once the insult was given, Rex slams his fist onto the table and the guy sitting next to him holds him down. I shake my head at Rex. He notices and remains. We do not need a scene created more than what already is. And as I looked around, noticing, we were attracting wondering eyes.
Rex's fist tightens more, but he remains as Brad continues.
Now where was I? Ah, yes. X and making friends. Is that what is going on here?
Casually answering while keeping my stare forward. Not that I owe you an explanation, Brad, but I was here eating by myself and these three showed up and decided to eat around me. No invite, no conversation.
Oh, X, I can believe you eating alone. What I cannot believe is they chose to eat here out of all the available seats possible. To add, in the past you would have hurt someone for just looking at you. But now you leave these three unharmed and allow them to remain sitting in your vicinity like it is welcomed?
Becoming annoyed, knowing he would not just drop this, I decided to push him. Brad, just because I've never given you or your thugs the acceptance to be around me does not mean you need to be jealous of those I have.
Jealous? Does she really think he's jealous? He's caught off guard, though, because his answer involves stutters. He stops himself, catching a breath, and I think is trying to inch towards her. Why does he need to be closer? I inch towards her as well for her protection, I think. What I was implying is that maybe the X we know is going soft. Me and the boys could have swore we saw you smiling as we entered the arena this afternoon. Are you going soft, X? I can see even feel X begin to tense up.
Feeling tested, I figured the best way to answer his question is to show him. I slowly turned my head to face him, smiling. Not a nice smile, not like the one before. Would you like to find out, Brad? Allie starts. X. But I'm not listening. It is too late, and I cannot fully control it. Trays and silverware begin clanging against the table. Those around us who have already been eavesdropping and knew it was about to happen start to get up from their seated positions. Tables start to vibrate, moving out of place. Everybody starts to rise and move towards the walls. Some make it out the door. Brad slowly starts to rise and back away, saying,
X, you know I was just messing around.
You know, Brad, I do not think you were.
I look over at Rex and Allie, who are both standing up as well. Allie shows nothing but worry. Rex is trembling but remains strong. He looks down at Allie and grabs her hand. I then hear a loud zap. What was that? It sounded like a strike of lightning. I look at X and then hear loud thuds. That is when I notice towards our right, from the front of the cafeteria, bodies were falling. The guards. They were knocked out, unable to help the situation.
Brad goes to turn away and run, and then stumbles, falling to the floor as he tries to get away. I walk out to the center of the aisles now, between tables, and start walking towards where he fell. His friends yell out, but no use. I send them all flying into the air along with silverware, which pin them to the back wall where they stuck, hanging by threads. Some begin to bleed from wounds where the knives and forks stabbed into their flesh as they just hang there. Brad attempts at yelling for help, hoping someone will come to his rescue. Before anyone has the courage and humanity to try and attempt a rescue, I build the tables and chairs up, making a barrier between all of us and me and Brad. I tune out everything and everyone, only focusing on him.
I walked back towards the far side from the horrific scene that was unfolding, away from X. Just at the right time, too, because the tables and chairs started moving and being forced into a wall, keeping any of us from getting to X, Brad, and the others.
I am right in front of him now, staring him down. Too afraid to look up at me, he is trembling tremendously. I squat down now at eye level, which he still refuses to look up at me. I ask, "Do you still question if I'm going soft, Brad?" He remains quiet and starts whimpering. "Brad, I asked you a question." Finally whispering an answer.
No, X, I do not.
Good.
I can barely see anything now of what is going on, and I feel a tug on my left arm. I look over and it's Allie. "Allie, what's going on?" she whispers.
It's hard to explain, Mitch.
"Are you serious? Why is she acting like this? What gives her the right, Allie?" She looks down, frowning, and does not answer. Rex whispers, "This is crazy."